The collective council chamber fell silent as Ambassador Zixthera of the Vrelian hegemony activated the holographic display. 300 species representatives from across the galaxy watched as images of human colony worlds flickered before them. Peaceful settlements, trading posts, research stations. These mammals, Zixthera hissed, his chitinous mandibles clicking with disdain, have expanded into 14 systems in less than 2 centuries. They negotiate treaties they barely honor. They ask questions about everything. They are inefficient, emotional, and worst of all, they laugh at danger. The collective had rules. Ancient rules. No species could expand beyond their designated sectors without approval. Humanity had requested expansion rights 3 times. 3 times they had been denied. And yet, they continued to spread like some persistent organism, establishing unauthorized colonies with apologetic smiles and promises to work something out eventually. The Council of Elders has decided, Zixthera announced, his 3 eyes gleaming with satisfaction. Humanity will be pruned back to their origin system. Military action is authorized. They are, after all, merely a young species. This will be educational for them. The vote passed overwhelmingly. Only the Crixinac delegation abstained, their ambassador, a being of crystalline intelligence, simply stating, "We recommend further study of human history." Nobody listened. The first Vrelian battle fleet arrived at the human colony of New Scandinavia expecting a quick surrender. They outnumbered the human defense force 3-1, possessed superior shielding technology, and had the element of surprise. What they didn't expect was for the humans to fight back with such creative viciousness. Captain Jennifer Okoye of the UNS Indomitable watched the enemy fleet approach with cold calculation. Her ship was outgunned, outmanned, and according to every tactical simulation, doomed. She smiled anyway. "Communications, open a channel," she ordered. "Channel open, Captain. Vrelian fleet, this is Captain Okoye. You have entered human space with hostile intent. I'm obligated to inform you that this is a really spectacularly bad idea. Last chance to turn around." The response came swiftly. "Surrender, human. Your species has violated collective law. Comply or be destroyed." "Copy that," Okoye replied cheerfully. "Don't say we didn't warn you. All ships execute Protocol Crazy Ivan." What followed would be studied in military academies for generations. The human ships didn't retreat or form defensive positions. Instead, they charged directly at the Vrelian fleet while rotating randomly, making their trajectories nearly impossible to predict. They fired weapons at seemingly random intervals, wasted ammunition on missed shots, and broke every rule of conventional space warfare. It was chaos. Beautiful, terrifying chaos. The Vrelians, trained in precise formation tactics and predictable engagement patterns, found themselves unable to adapt. When human fighters began using debris as cover, ramming damaged enemy ships and, in one memorable instance, detonating their own reactor to take out a Vrelian dreadnought, the alien fleet commander realized something horrifying. These humans weren't just fighting, they were enjoying it. New Scandinavia held. Barely, but it held. High Commander Zixthera was not concerned by the initial setback. He deployed the 2nd and 3rd fleets simultaneously. Humans had merely gotten lucky. Numerical superiority would prevail. It didn't. At the colony of New Lagos, human defenders used guerrilla tactics, hiding among asteroids and striking without warning. At Port Liberty, they hacked Vrelian communication systems and flooded them with what they called memes. Nonsensical images that somehow disrupted alien concentration. At New Tokyo, they strapped missile pods to civilian cargo haulers and turned merchant vessels into improvised warships. The humans lost ships. They lost people. Their casualties were astronomical by any reasonable measure. But they didn't stop. They didn't surrender. They adapted, innovated, and fought with a desperate creativity that the collective had never encountered. And then humanity did something unexpected. They went on the offensive. The Crixinac ambassador had tried to warn them. In the council chamber, as reports of human counterattacks flooded in, she finally spoke at length. "We abstained because we studied their history," she explained, her crystalline form pulsing with light. "Humans are persistence predators. On their homeworld, they didn't outrun prey. They exhausted it. They tracked it for days until it collapsed. They are biologically designed for endurance," she paused, letting that sink in. But more than that, humans evolved in a death world. Their planet has killed 99% of all species that ever lived there. It has ice ages, supervolcanoes, asteroid impacts, and predators that hunt in packs. Humans survived all of it. They didn't just survive, they thrived. They climbed to the top of their food chain not through strength or speed, but through stubbornness and creativity. The council members shifted uncomfortably. You declared war on a species that looks at a mountain and thinks, I should climb that for fun. A species that domesticated wolves, apex predators, and turned them into pets. A species whose idea of entertainment includes jumping out of aircraft for recreation and boxing each other for sport. She turned to Zixthera directly. You asked why they laugh at danger? Because on Earth, danger is Tuesday. You haven't been fighting a military. You've been fighting a species where every individual is the descendant of survivors who refuse to die. The war lasted 3 more months. Not because the Vrelians couldn't deploy more ships, but because they realized the terrifying truth. Humans would never stop. Every battle made them more experienced. Every loss made them angrier. Every tactic used against them was studied, countered, and improved upon. When human fleets began appearing in Vrelian territory using captured technology, modified in ways that violated physics textbooks, the hegemony sued for peace. The treaty negotiations were awkward. Captain Okoye, now Admiral Okoye, sat across from a humbled Zixthara. Why? He asked simply. You lost more ships than we did. More soldiers. Why didn't you surrender? Okoye leaned back, that same smile from the war's first day crossing her face. Because we're human. We're the species that looked at space, the vast, empty, radiation-filled nightmare between stars, and said, let's go exploring. We're stubborn. We're crazy, and we really, really don't like being told what to do. She stood, extending her hand. No hard feelings, though. Welcome to the neighborhood. Try not to start any more wars you can't finish. Zixthera looked at the offered hand, a human gesture of peace, and carefully accepted it. He finally understood what his intelligence division had missed in their analysis. Humanity wasn't dangerous because they were strong. They were dangerous because they refused to accept that anything was impossible. And in a universe of species that evolved to survive, humans had evolved to conquer. The collective never restricted human expansion again.